Good morning to everyone present here, respected dignitaries from Nepal and United States and even from other countries. Please accept our warm namaste. I am Dr. Shrestha from the Ncell Hospital, currently pursuing in Harvard University in the course Leadership in Medicine. And let me take this opportunity first to congratulate all of the participants here who made it to the 1-month symposium based on youth leadership, climate change, and social entrepreneurship. So among these 3 topics, we are going to present, me and my team are going to present on youth leadership. And before going to the contents, I'd like my team to introduce themselves. So please take the floor, guys.
Namaste and good morning to everyone. I'm Shah, currently a final year student studying environmental engineering at Kathmandu University. Thank you.
Namaste, I'm Ellie Backley from the University of Washington, 4th year student in bioengineering.
Hello, my name is Rudy. I'm a 4th year student from the University of Washington in the Department of Material Science.
Namaste, my name is Carter Rao. I am a 4th year student in the bioengineering program at the University of Washington.
Hello everyone, I am Robin Mishra, currently at the 3rd year in Kathmandu University School of Arts, pursuing Bachelor's in Economics.
Thank you, everyone. And we'd also like to thank our guide, our Sir Professor Dr. Bean and Joshma ma'am for the guidance throughout our course. And moving ahead with the table of contents, we'll be dealing with the introduction on leadership tree, our learning phases, and we have made a short data analysis and interpretation of the result. And along with that, we have experience sharing by our friends from the United States and words of gratitude. So moving ahead with the code that I really like, this is leadership on the other hand is about creating a change you can believe in. So leadership is for the change. If you are not intending for the change, you're just taking the authority and power. That does not signify leadership at all. So this is a code that we all accept and would like to implement in our leadership journey. So moving ahead with the definition of leadership, the activity of leading a group of people, an organization, or the ability to do this. Leadership involves establishing a clear vision, sharing the vision with others so that they will follow willingly, providing the information, knowledge, and methods to realize that vision, coordinating and balancing the conflict interest of all members and stakeholders. So let's talk a bit about leadership trait. So what are the kinds of leadership traits that you implement in your daily life or in your journey? So these are a few of the traits that we have enlisted, we have collected from a group of people, and we do also believe that these are the traits that a leader should have in his journey. That includes being supportive, being inspirational, being honest, and highly committed and dedicated. Along with that, a leader should also be passionate, reflective, creative, and should be the ultimate problem solver. So these are the traits that we believe that every one of us have in us. That's why we are here standing in front of all of you and we are attending this beautiful session. So moving ahead with the experience sharing. So we had in this month-long symposium-based workshop, we had amazing lectures from different dignitaries, from different backgrounds, and we who had already had marked the impact on leadership in different field of expertise. So we had Dr. Kim. We had our first class from Dr. Kim, Dr. Khagendra. He gave us a brief introduction on leadership and we learned leadership traits, leadership styles, and developing leadership from him. It was a very insightful session from him and all of us had a really, really beautiful learning experience from him. And the second class we had Nurturing Transformative Leadership by Dr. Himraj Kafli. This was amazing experience for every one of us because we were asked to fill the survey and know our leadership traits and the type of leadership that we implement on a daily basis and in our journey. So we learned about the essence of leadership, basis of transformations, and various strategies regarding leadership. This was, yes, one of the most beautiful experience we had in our learning experience. So the third class we had was with Mr. Santosh Shah. He's such a fine, inspirational person for me and for every one of us because we learned the power of influence and leadership from him. And along with that, we got to differentiate between what is good and what is bad influence, which is very important for every youth to understand, right? So along with that, we also could have insight on importance of influence in world from leadership perspective. And at last we had the lecture from Professor Dr. Raj Karki from IOM, and he was such amazing teacher to us because he gave us insight on leadership during crisis. So we learned that the most important thing a leader should always have within himself at the time of crisis is common sense, courage, and the power to convert emotions into actions. So these are the three things that I also personally apply in my daily medical journey, medical experiences, and this was quite, I could quite relate to it, and I found it very impactful for every youth. So moving ahead with the interaction session, so we had the wonderful opportunity to have interaction with Deputy Mayor of the Ncell municipality, where we learned that leadership develops over time, and along with that, coordination and communication is the key factor which should be present in every good leader. Moving ahead, we had leadership cohort, and where we were having some very good interaction session with the political parties, political leaders who had already been participated in Constitutional Assembly, and we had good insight and advices from them that we should not fear with the challenges, but we have to be motivated and courageous enough to go ahead in our journey and implement this thing that if there is no pain, we won't gain anything. So this is a thing that we learned from the leaders cohort. And this beautiful lady, we had the opportunity to meet Miss Sunita Dongwal. And me as a woman also take her as such inspiration because she at such young age have already had such impactful, is in impactful position and has been doing wonderful things for women. And also in Nepal we have this symbolic representation of a woman, be it in parliament or be it in any political party. But this person, she has been doing a phenomenal job in her own way, and we learned how challenging it is for a woman to take a step further and make an impact on women leadership. And we also learned that you always don't need to be in decision making to make change. Your effort will count the other way as well. So we learned a very beautiful learning from her. And coming to the leadership insight by Sir Andy Chong, we had a wonderful experience with him yesterday. He was such amazing personality, very down to earth, and we learned. I had these learnings in my theory sessions, but he put it forward in such simplified way that we were all stunned. And we learned that to play, we have to play to win or outlast. And we also learned that leadership is not about the authority, but to inspire the people to have the better impact and positive change in the society. by best way possible. And we also got to learn about the competence and collaboration, the beauty of collaboration in order to have beautiful world. So this is the thing that we learned from Andy sir, and we are very grateful towards you sir for this amazing session. So to apply the knowledge we had gained during our workshop, we along with me along with my team, we decided to have a short survey. We had a very limited time, but still we tried our best to collect data, and we took the data from various youth leaders from different departments and interdepartment clubs of Kathmandu University, and also the experienced leaders from older generation. So the findings, the survey consisted of two sections, the objective questions and the subjective question. So which was focused on more on the leadership style and leadership trait of the individual leader. So we got the results as follows. Our result according to age. The upper one is of the younger generation of people. So we found out that 62% of the younger generations were into facilitative leadership, whereas only a limited and less number of leaders were found to be democratic, where on contrary to the youth generation, the older generation were more into the democratic leadership, and in which 32% were democratic and 29% were facilitative. So so many of you must be thinking about what facilitative and democratic leadership is. So while facilitative leaders may have their own clear opinions about the best course of action, they are not willing to influence the group unduly with their ideas. They believe that group activity should be a constant learning process, and it is okay to make mistakes, and so as long as people learn from it. Whereas the journey is seen as more important than the destination, which is the concept of the younger generation of people, according to our result. Whereas the democratic leaders, their role is largely one of establishing a structure and ground rules for a group, projecting this and enabling group activity, which is the principle followed by the older generation. So this both leadership style has its own pros and cons, and I believe that everyone is here to make a positive impact, and we have to learn from each of the generation and apply it accordingly in our journey towards our leadership. So we also had a survey. We had a pretty good responses from female as well. So there's a representation of female in leadership role. This chart signifies it. And we asked the participants, leaders, to rate themselves from scale of 0 to 10. How would they rate themselves as leaders? So 2 out of 7 participants rate themselves as 9, and the other people were below 9, which means that they identify themselves still in the learning phase, which is a good thing, because I do believe that learning is a never-ending process. So yeah. And apart from that, we also asked them, if a leader must not hold any grudges or biases against anyone in the team, and we were pleased to get this result of 100% in our survey. And along with that, we also asked them if they are open to suggestions from employee and co-workers, where we got 100% responses of yes, which is such a beautiful result that leadership in Nepal, people will be applying this thing. So coming towards the end of the presentation, and now I'd like to give the floor to our friends from the United States for their short experience, sharing how they have seen the differences of leadership in Nepal and in the States. I hope it is kind of similar, but still we can get more insight on them from them. So I'd like to give the floor back to them.
Namaste, everyone. The University of Washington students got to experience a few key examples of leadership in collaboration with the Kathmandu University students, the first of which relates to women leadership. we had the opportunity to meet with the Kathmandu Deputy Mayor, Sunita Dongal. We learned about the Ncell working body, and it's comprised of all females who are addressing pressing women health issues related to education and health. They're able to make direct changes to government policy, and they're more than just a symbol of female youth leadership to young women, but they're able to directly impact the female community.
Hello again, everyone. Yesterday, my team also had the privilege of meeting at Ncell with CEO Andy Chong. I wanted to thank Mr. Andy Chong again for taking the time to meet with us yesterday and to be here today. Yesterday, what stuck out to me and inspired me the most was in Andy Chong's own words, what makes a good leader. Even in a private for-profit institution, a good leader is not defined by who can make the most profit. A good leader is defined by who can make the most positive change in other people's lives. And my hope for that is that endeavors like Ncell can inspire private institutions back in the States and all over the world to affect positive change in other people's lives.
We met an incredible group of students at KU. These students worked on impactful projects like the stove projects that will improve the lives of Nepalese citizens everywhere. We experienced these students' leadership firsthand as they showed us, they taught us about the design, the construction, and the impact of this project.
Yeah, thank you so much, everyone. Coming towards the end of our presentation, I'd like to extend my sincere gratitude to all the dignitaries present here for your gracious presence and giving us this opportunity to learn more about leadership on climate change and social entrepreneurship. And long story short, it was a really productive and insightful workshop for me as an individual and my entire team, because I belong from a medical background, yet I took this decision to participate in this program because I wanted to extend my expertise, and I just don't want to limit it in the medicine background, but I wanted to extend my knowledge beyond medicine, and I had such wonderful opportunity to have knowledge and insight on climate change and engineering background. So it was a really wonderful experience for me. And as Sarah ma'am rightly mentioned, it is not just about the learning experience, but a wonderful cultural exchange between Nepali students and students from the United States. So I'd like to thank every one of you, and yes, long live the friendship between Nepal and United States. So saying this, we'd like to conclude our presentation. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.